Good morning, children. I hope all of you are fine. So, stay at home and stay safe. So, let's move on to our next chapter, that is a poem by Robert Frost. The name of the poem is Fire and Ice. So, let's see, okay? Before we move on to the poem Fire and Ice, let's see about the author. I already told about the author in the previous class. Even then, just listen to that. Robert Frost. Robert Frost was born on March 26, 1874 in San Francisco. After the death of his father, he moved with his mother and sister to Lawrence in Massachusetts. He became interested in reading and writing poetry during his high school years. Frost drifted a string of occupations after leaving school, working as a teacher, cobbler, and editor. His first published poem, My Butterfly, appeared on November 8, 1894 in the New York newspaper, The Independent. In 1895, Frost got married to Miriam, who was a major inspiration for his poetry until her death in 1938. The couple moved to England in 1912 after they had tried and failed in farming. Frost was influenced by the British poets. Ezra Pound, a British poet, helped Frost to promote and publish his work. Robert Frost lived and taught for many years in Massachusetts and Vermont. He died in Boston on January 29, 1963. Now let's see the central idea of the poem Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. According to the poet, people in the society believe that there will be an end to the world we live, and it may occur either due to fire or due to ice. And here, fire is the symbol of desire, and ice is the symbol of hatred. You know, uh, if you have, if you find us even a spark of fire, it will blow and it will engulf everything. It will grow, and it will engulf everything. Same way, if anybody has the desire, lust, thirst for anything, that desire will grow because of that desire or greediness, that the whole world come to an end. Same way, in the case of ice or hatred, ice is the symbol of hatred according to the poet. And if hatred also grows, uh, people become uh, people become insensitive, and that also spread everywhere, and that also will become the cause for the destruction or damage of the whole world. And another thing is there, now we are facing the severe or harmful effect of the new pandemic of the pandemic, COVID-19, and it also affect the human beings, and people are trying very means I mean scientists are trying very much to find out uh, good prevention for the virus. All these things are happening in the world, and let's hope we can overcome this pandemic soon, and everybody try for that. So try yourself to overcome the pandemic by staying at home and doing all the precautions and avoid that any other mingling with others, keep social distancing and wear mask. All these things you should do and avoid the destruction of the whole earth. So let's do our own part in our in this world, and let's contribute something for our mankind. How? By keeping safe ourselves, we can do something or contribute something to the mankind. Only that thing we can do. Okay. So make use of the time that is with you. Make it useful. As we studied in the previous poem, that Dust of Snow. There, the poet, the same poet, Robert Frost, told that he wasted the part of the day by repenting about something, thinking about something. So later, the action by the crow, that is shaking the dust of snow upon him, that made him change his mind, and as a result, he decided to do some useful activities. So think this present condition, that is this condition of this pandemic. We are not coming to the school, and we miss that opportunity, but don't worry, you are lucky enough to get at least this online classes. So you have to make use of it and study the portions up to date, and also you can read so many other things, useful things, and also you can do some gardening, then cultivate some hobbies. That way you can use your time, that will give you more energy. Okay, so spend your time for that kind of extra curricular activities also, gardening, painting, drawing, reading, then help your parents at home. All these things you can do. Okay, and make use of your time and enjoy the life also. This is the just thing, even though it is time is not good, even then just think it as a boon also. Boon means in Malayalam it is vara. Okay, think it as a boon and make use of the time. Enjoy the life, enjoy the family life very much, and do your duty. That's the main thing. Okay, do your duty. So I think you understood the central theme of the poem. The according to the poet, there are two notions in the society, that the world may end because of fire, or world may end because of ice. Let's go to the poem in detail. Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. And here the poet says that there are two notions in the society about the destruction of the world, about the end of the world. And the first of these theories states that fire will cause the disaster to happen. And he equates fire with human passion or desire, lust. And first of these theories states that fire will cause the disaster, and the poet frankly confesses that he agrees with those people who believe that the world will burn by fire. And next stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Here, the poet stops discussing the first theory. Which theory? The theory that states that the world will end because of fire. That is the first theory. And here the poet stops discussing about the first theory and he goes on talk about the second theory. What is that? The theory about the destruction of earth by ice. He does not disagree with the first theory about fire. He simply considers what might happen if the earth was to be destroyed a second time. He is sure that the second time ice will be enough to destroy the earth as nearly and effectively as fire. He then compares ice with hatred and indifference. That is what the poet says in the second stanza. The first stanza, he considers. He told this theory that the earth will or the world will end in fire, and in the second stanza, he is saying that the destruction will cause because of ice, and both having the same, both of them will do the same destruction. So you read this poem many times and also study the meanings. Perish. Perish means die. Suffice. Suffice means be sufficient. Write these meanings in your notebook and study. Now let's see the poetic devices used in the poem Fire and Ice. Here we already heard that this fire symbolizes human desire or lust, whereas ice stands for hatred and indifference. So each of them symbolizes something, and they are the symbols of humanity's ability to create disasters of its own. So here fire and ice symbolizes something. So we can say that the poetic device used in this poem is symbolism. Symbolism. That is, symbolism is the poetic device used in this poem. And which are the symbols? Fire and ice. Fire symbolizes human desire, whereas ice stands for hatred. And symbolism means it is the practice or art of using an object or a word to represent an idea. That is, an action, person, place, word or object can have a symbolic meaning. When an author wants to suggest a certain mood or emotion, he can also use symbolism to explain it. So the symbols used in this poem are fire and also ice. Fire stands for desire and ice stands for hatred. And they are also the symbols of human beings' ability to create disaster or destruction. So this is one symbol and this is one poetic device. And in the previous poem we studied one poetic device, that is alliteration. Here also you can see alliteration, where just say first line, some say the world will end in fire. Second line also you can see, some say in ice. Here some say. Here some begins with s sound, isn't it? And say also s sound. Next line also you can see the repetition of the same sound. So that is an example of alliteration. Another one is world and will. Here world begins with v, will also begins with v sound. So both of them having the same sound. So here also alliteration is used. And another one is fourth line. Let's just look at the fourth line there. Favor and fire. Favor begins with the sound f, and fire also f. Both of them having the same sound. So here also alliteration, the poetic device alliteration is used. So the two poetic devices used are symbolism and alliteration. Your today's activity is, you should do the assessment 9. That you can see in the description box, and you use that link and do the assessment. Before that you should go through the class, then only you do that assessment. There you can get your score, and you can see the correct answers also.